Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel, and if this is your first time joining, thanks for coming along. My name's Jim and this is Marlowe's Independent Traders. What's this channel all about? I'm a UK based eBay reseller. And what that means is I buy items secondhand from basically anywhere. Car boot sales, charity shops, auctions, pretty much anywhere I can get my hands on it. And then I use eBay to sell those items back online to make a profit. So this episode is going to be the first of a series of new episodes aimed at brand new resellers. So that's people who have just started out in the last few months, or people that are watching my channel or any others and thinking they'd love to start reselling but haven't, taken that leap into the journey yet. What I'm going to do is use a series of really short videos to talk through a few tips and tricks that I wish I'd have known when I started out, and hopefully it's going to help you avoid making a few of the mistakes that I did, of which there are many, and also just give you a really low risk way in which you can start reselling with absolutely no startup capital. So if you're thinking you'd like to get into reselling but don't have the money to begin buying stock, that's not a problem at all. What I'm going to do today is talk to you about how you can start with absolutely nothing and really slowly and gradually in a low risk way build up your business to start making a really nice profitable reselling business. Is basically, how did you start out as a reseller? What made you take that first jump, and more importantly, how much money did you start off with? That was basically to start out with absolutely no investment capital at all and use a few of my own things from my house to sell to start getting that ball rolling and to gain my initial seed investment. So that's exactly what I'm going to suggest you guys do. I would find somewhere between 20 and 30 items from around your house, and I would use them and list those on eBay and sell them to get your initial seed capital for the business, to kind of get you to that starting line of being a reseller. And there's a load of reasons why that's a great way to start out. It means that you don't have to spend a load of your time sourcing and looking for those items and worrying about whether you're going to make profit on them because they've cost you zero. The second reason is that you don't have to register your business with HMRC because you're selling your own items at that stage, which means you don't have to do that admin at the front end, and you can really focus on getting your fundamentals of listing, posting, and selling those items. And the other reason means that it's super low risk because you're not starting out with £200, £300, £400, £500 that you're going to invest in items and you could lose. I've got a few examples of things you might find. You want to be looking for items that are probably going to be worth £10 or more. If you're unsure, use your phone, download the eBay app and search for whatever you find on there. You might find some old kind of electricals, a Walkman or a mini disc player. Books, I don't sell a lot of these, but you might have lying around your house, some of the popular series of books that have come out late. Things like Game of Thrones or Harry Potter or the 50 Shades of Grey series sell quite well if you have a complete bundle. Video games, always a really good one. And also things like clothes. So if you've got some old jeans in particular, those are great things. The key to these things that you're finding is that they have some inherent value. As I said, ideally you want to find things that are like £10 or more, but also that they're not too big and weighty and bulky. Small items, try and keep them under 2 kilos because that means you can take them straight to the post office, and things that have a little bit of value. Okay, so now you've got your little stack of items that you're going to list on eBay. Now's the time to get them listed and get them sold. Now, I'm not going to walk you through the listing process, but what I would say is there are literally thousands of videos on YouTube that can talk you through that process. One thing I would recommend is doing everything on your phone. The eBay app on mobile is really intuitive and really easy. There's a big button that just says list an item, and from there you just fill in the blanks and it's really easy. Another thing I would say would be don't get too hung up and spend too much time on a listing process. I think in terms of quality of photos and description, they absolutely have a bearing on how quickly and the price your things will sell for. But really, I think fine-tuning those things is something that you can develop in the future. But I think for the purposes of this exercise, to get us that business capital startup, that a 10 or 14 day auction is probably the best. And the reason for that is that with an auction, you've got a really high likelihood that the item will sell unless you picked an absolute duffer. Also, it kind of gives you a little bit of time as a new reseller to get the postage materials, etc., that you have for those items to get it out. So it also means that you won't have too many sales coming in at once, which, you know, is definitely not a bad thing when you're kind of a more experienced reseller. But if you were to list all of your 30 items and buy it now on day one and they all sold in day two, that would be great. You'd have loads of money coming in, but that you then also have the pressure of needing to get those 30 items packaged and posted out in pretty quick order, which as a new reseller can be quite intimidating. So what I would do would list maybe 1 or 2 of those items a day, every day for a couple of weeks, and get your items listed that way. Which means that 2 weeks after that, you're going to have 1 or 2 a day, 1 or 2 sales a day coming in that you can easily manage the kind of post-sale process. Now, hopefully 2 weeks down the line, they're going to start selling. And to be honest, they will find their market value. With kind of an auction, you might find that they don't maybe achieve some of the higher prices, but hey, we've not paid anything for these items, so it doesn't matter. Most of this money is going to come out as profit minus your fees and postage costs, so we're still going to be left over with a healthy seed capital for your reselling business at the end of it. Now, when it comes to postage, if you've used that method of just listing 1 or 2 items a day, it means that you will have just a couple of items a day to post as well, which is great. While your items are listed, I would recommend going out and picking up some of the postage materials you're going to need. So things like bubble mailers, poly bags. You might need a small box depending on what you've chosen to list. But just pick these up individually if you must, from either a post office or someone like WH Smith's. When it comes down to postage, also don't worry about kind of fancy label writers or things like that. Just grab yourself a biro or a Sharpie, and once your item's sold, just simply write the postal address directly onto your mailing medium and then take it down to the post office. That's exactly what I would do. They'll do the rest for you. When you go to the post office, make sure that you post your items with the same level of postage that you've listed them for. It might be worth, when you're listing those items, having a quick look on what the current rates are from Royal Mail as well. So that's exactly what I would do. That's how I'd spend my first maybe month or 6 weeks if I were to start selling again, because it means that basically I can start from nothing. I can have a very gradual introduction into the process of listing items, posting them out, gaining a little bit of feedback to begin with as well, which is also really important. And then I can use my spare time to start looking around the local sourcing opportunities, watching other resellers, and kind of starting to build my knowledge slowly. That's exactly what I would recommend you do. And I think if you kind of follow this method, it might be a little bit of a slower, lower risk introduction into reselling, but I guarantee you very quickly you'll start making really good ones. So that's basically it for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and hope it provided a little bit of guidance, and hopefully gives those that are thinking of getting into reselling the confidence to kind of get started. You don't need anything, just need to have a quick look around the house. I appreciate that some of the details in this were skirted over, but what I'd say is, if you need to know more on postage or listing items on eBay, go on YouTube, and there's loads of videos out there that can kind of fill in the gaps that I skirted over today. This is really just to kind of brief introduction on how you can get to that starting point and get a few quid in your pocket and then really begin moving forward to your reselling journey. But I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give me a thumbs up and put a comment down below. If there's anything else you'd like to see in this series of videos, I've got a few things to kind of on my list to talk through. But if there's any specifics, if you've just started up and have a few questions, or there's topics that you're really struggling with, leave me a comment down below on what you'd like to see, and I'll do a video of that in the next few days or weeks. All right, thanks everyone. Have a lovely day.